Hey, I have a question for you. Ever wanted to say no to something, but weren't sure how? More about that right after the intro. Welcome to the Day One Journey, episode 217. Ching. Yeah. So if you remember last episodes, we already talked about saying no. In this episode, I'll share with you exactly how do I communicate that. What words do I use? And remember, this is still within the priority series, and me sharing with you my third value, my third priority, which is energy, which is all about saving my energy and not finding myself explaining myself too much. As I already shared with you as well, is one of my biggest energy drainers in my life, explaining myself. So let's dive right in, and I'll share with you how do I communicate saying no. So at first I started saying I have other priorities. So when people would come to me and they would offer me, let's go to that party, that event, that trip, I would just say, I'd rather not go because I have other priorities. Or I would say, it's not a priority for me. But quickly I understood, this is just too harsh. People take it personally. And I understand that. Because people would think that they are not a priority for me. They would think that I don't care about them, which is not the truth. I do care about them, but I'd just rather work on, for example, my projects than going out to that party or that trip or that whatever event it might be. So I stopped using that. It wasn't too helpful, even though it was effective with energy, because they usually won't ask me too much questions and they wouldn't talk to me too much afterwards. But that can be for a long time. They might not talk to me for a long time when they would think that they are not a priority for me, which is again not really the truth, as I told you. So I dropped that option, communicating that, and then I tried something much more soft. I started saying, I have other plans. But then when I started saying that, people would start with more questions. Instead of saving my energy, they would ask me more questions. And they would go like, what? Other plans? Where do you go? What you're planning to do? Who are you going with? And they would be excited about my other plans. But yet again, I want to save energy. I don't want to start a discussion about that. I don't want to start explaining myself too much. So that wasn't effective. And even in the cases that they didn't ask me too much about it, a day or 2 days afterwards, when they found out that I didn't really go out, they would come to me and tell me, but you didn't go out at the end, after all. They would assume, and that makes sense to me, that having other plans means going out somewhere else, which wasn't the case for me. I have the plan of staying at home, working on my projects. But what I communicate wasn't that clear. Most people would think that I would go out somewhere else, and then when they find out that I didn't go out, they would even think that I was lying to them, which is again not the truth. So I stopped doing that as well. And then I realized if it's about work, if it's about work that I want to do, I want to communicate that. So I started saying, I have work. And when I started saying that, sometimes it worked, but sometimes people would start give me sort of advice, like maybe you should take a rest, maybe you should take a break, maybe it will be good for you, take some time off, clean your mind, or even suggest me to, I know, do the work the next week, or postpone the work, or even offer to help me with my work. And again, I don't want to start this conversation and explain myself what this work is about. And I really don't want them to tell me how to manage my time and then I added some small thing to what I was saying. Instead of saying only, I have work, I started saying, I have work I want to do. Yes, I have work I want to do. And this made all the difference. Because when I say I have work I want to do, it's not just work. It's not just work that I know my boss gave me and I have to do it and I need to do it and I have a certain deadline for him and I don't really want to do it. It's work that I want to do. So it communicates the truth. It communicates that it is important to me because I want to do it. It communicates that it is a priority for me. So when I say that to my friends, so they come up to me and they say, let's go to this party, this event, this trip. And I'm saying, no, I'd rather not go because I have work I want to do. They would start realizing it is important to me. It's not just that I don't want to go with them. So they won't take it personally. And they would understand as friends as well that it is important to me. It's not just work, it is important to me. And notice, I use the word work. I'm not saying my projects, I'm not saying certain things, because when I say, for example, my projects, they can ask me questions about it. What are your projects? What's been going on with the project? And as I shared before, I don't want to explain myself. I want to save that energy. So for me, saying I have work I want to do was and still is the most effective way for me to communicate the truth while saying no to many things that I'd rather not do when I want to put the same energy doing the stuff that I really want to do, my priorities, and for me is work on my projects right now. And this is what I wanted to share with you today. By the way, I have another tip or something that I do communicate while saying no, but I save that to the next episode because we are really out of time. So back to you. Back to you. Next time you want to say no to anything, something big, something small, anything, try using that phrase. I have work I want to do. And notice this work can be anything. You can work on yourself. You can do many things. You can work on your garden. You can work on infinite amount of things. But try it. Next time you want to say no, try saying, I have work I want to do. And see if that works for you. So do it the next time. And of course, have an amazing day one. See you tomorrow.